Well, it was a barnstormer at Winton Motor Raceway and we flipped the grid around, and I'm expecting the same thing here today over 10 laps. We will see Wayne Mercer up towards the pointy end of the field. We'll get to the grid very, very soon as we clean up this 2.87 kilometre circuit, and we just made the trek across from the paddock and it's gotten very humid out there all of a sudden.
Yeah, the humidity level has actually risen quite significantly from earlier on in the day. There was a little bit of cloud cover earlier and the ambient started to drop, but like we saw the other day, as soon as that cloud cover clears again, the temperature, the ambient rise up, so it's going to be a tough afternoon for these guys out here. Remembering also they've now had qualifying, 2 races on this same set on their tyres, so it's about trying to sort of put together the best set of tyres that they've got left and see what they can do in this final race.
If you've ever heard us talk about the dummy grid, this is what it actually is. It's not a word we make up. They line them up in grid formation just to the left of our commentary position. We'll take a ride out with Jason Gomersall in that beautiful 2-door Tirana, scheduled to start down in 16th position when we go for this rolling start very, very soon. And already we've got a bonnet off the Andrew Fisher car.
This is something that you see time and time again over the years. Cars leave the dummy grid area, leave pit lane, bonnet pins aren't in, and away it goes.
There's going to be a mechanic back in the pits tonight who might be feeling a bit sore.
All will be forgiven, I'm sure.
Just not right now. Well played. One of our hard-working officials is going to run off to the car park and see what money he can get for that later on this afternoon. I'm just kidding. We'll go back to the Fisher compound after this. There he is, but if anything, it's going to keep the car air-conditioned for this race. Aerodynamically, it'll be horrible out there. Oh, look, it's broken well and truly away. Yep. Car number 9. So 10 laps around this 2.87 kilometre circuit. They've been really, really good since qualifying yesterday. 2 great races so far, and here's how it looks for the Shannon's Thunder in the Valley feature race. Mercer and Greg Garwood on the front row, Bob Middleton and Rusty French on the second row, Nigel Benson and Michael Cannon on the third row, Darren Beale and Adam Garwood staying out of 8th, Andrew Fisher and Tony Karafalowski, then Mark King and Jim Richards, Eddie Abelnika and Glenn Seaton, Stephen Johnson and Jason Gomersall, and John Bow from the back of the grid.
It's interesting on the front row where we see Greg Garwood. Obviously, Greg's more at home to doing events like Targa Tasmania. When you talk about Targa Tasmania and Touring Car Masters, immediately you think Jim Richards and his success. But you know, Greg Garwood is an 11-time veteran of Targa Tasmania and 4 times finished in 2nd place. So he knows a way. He knows how to get around in some great cars, and he's enjoying his experience up here at Darwin.
First time we saw him and Adam were in action down in Tasmania last year in the Sports GT class, and Adam was racing a Porsche with radial tyres. And you might want to explain the difference between a radial tyre and a race tyre.
Well, a radial tyre is sort of by definition, is meant to be something that you can put on a road car. So it has grooves, so in the event of wet weather and everything, whereas, say, V8 supercars run a slick tyre, which is perfect for dry conditions, nice warm like this, because it's got the maximum contact patch. So a radial tyre doesn't have anywhere near as much surface area of the rubber down on the road, therefore it doesn't have anywhere near as much grip, so the car will tend to move around a lot more. So say in something like Adam's Porsche around Simmons Plains, probably about 2 or 3 seconds lap difference going from a radial tyre to a slick tyre.
It was pretty impressive down there last year. He's had some driving help from Alex Davison, who we just had in commentary in the Aussie racing cars just before. These guys from the back of the field, the tension, the drama, the buzz, if you will, as the cars leave on the formation lap. It's a rolling start for the Touring Car Masters. I guess for some of these guys towards the front of the grid, they don't usually get a chance to race up here, and a different application when you're going to be watching the mirrors for the first couple of laps. Yeah,
these guys starting at the front, they're going to want to try and sort of put their heads down and get away, because they know that those guys down the back of the field, they're going to be come charging on through. So for these guys, it's their opportunity to try and be able to sprint away. Hope those guys down the back get sort of held up in a little bit of traffic or something like that. And the one thing those guys at the front don't want is they don't want to see a safety car.
Absolutely. There's Jason Gomersall. That cool helmet, he's already sweating. These drivers have been sitting in their cars for the better part of 15 to 20 minutes. And if you think we're hot, we're in shorts and shirts. These guys have got 3 layers of fire protection, plus a balaclava and a helmet strapped into a car with limited ventilation.
Well, the Porsche guys were saying in the Carrera Cup race earlier today, 64 degrees cabin temperature.
Yeah, that's hot, whichever way you look at it. Jim Richards down the field here. He'll start from 12th position, Seaton from 14th. So about being patient for the guys towards the back of the field. The first couple of corners, you get through there, set yourself up nicely. Lexus safety car leads them around.
I reckon the one to watch in the early part of this race is going to be Rusty French starting out of P4. That Mustang of his, it's known to have a lot of horsepower. The run down to the first corner is going to be so critical for him. Rusty's a long-time campaigner of motorsport here in Australia and around the world. He's driven just about everything. It's in the traditional Rusty French black, so look for him to sort of try and get to the front early on.
Got severely damaged at the front left-hand side down at Winton. He's back, former Porsche Cup racer, the owner of Sky Sands, and some massive car collection down there in Victoria, out there on the peninsula. Part owner in the Road Drive Racing Australia stable. Even raced at the 1,000 Years event on the streets of Adelaide back in the year 2000 in a Dodge Viper. On board with Glenn Seaton as we get into the rows of two for the final time. It's Mercer on the right-hand side in the 74 Falcon alongside Greg Garwood, as they cruise up to get the green flag here at Hidden Valley. It's about as casual as you like down the straight. Waiting for Jeff Sutton in the starter's box there to drop the green flag, and here it is, we're underway in the final race of the weekend.
Andrew Fisher sprinting down the inside there, the not so aerodynamic front of the Falcon. Adam Garwood down the inside also. Hopefully he can pull this thing up.
This is what he did at Winton on the first lap in one of the races. He's made up a couple of positions. He'll go side by side with Eddie Abel-Nika. Glenn Seaton feeds the power on. Andrew Fisher in the modified Jesus Falcon goes side by side with Mick Cannon. Oh, he's hit that curve. They were 2 wide. We saw 3 wide action in the Virgin Australia Supercars earlier. Oh, contact down the bottom, and that's not going to go down well.
No, not indeed. Everyone's managed to sort of get it back together. Most importantly, those guys down the back of the field, it's going to hold them up just that little bit more, like we spoke about, enabling those front guys just to get that little bit more of an advantage.
Down to turn 7. So Mercer, Rusty French goes up to second. He got past Greg Garwood. And Seaton hanging tough, but he'll have to yield that position behind Eddie Abel-Nika in the Darwin's cheapest cars entry. Touches the curb. The sweeper down to turn 11. Past the gravel trap platform and down into turn 14 for the first time. So John Bowles made up a handful of positions already. Glenn Seaton ahead, but Wayne Mercer, after contact earlier today with Adam Garwood, leads us through half a second back to Rusty French. The wily old veteran pulls out for some fresh air and maybe a look down the inside, but too far back.
Rusty's been around for a long time. He knows the best way to get past someone is get them looking in their mirrors, try and force them into a mistake.
And here's what happened on the run. Oh, moment for Garwood. That would have got his attention. We were watching what was happening back between Tony Kay and Mark King. Got together, but all sorted itself out.
Bit of an ambitious move down the inside. He sort of got the nose in there, but it's a tough corner. You've really got to force the move and get right down the inside there. If you only get the nose in there, it usually prevails into some kind of contact.
Father and son going at it there too for 3rd and 4th position. Here comes Bow from the back of the field. He's up to 9th. He's got Glenn Seaton ahead. Side by side down to turn 7.
Not many people can make the outside work there at turn 6, but John Bow, he's seen it all before. He's raced V8 supercars. He's been in the Touring Car Masters here many a time. He really is the king of Darwin and Hidden Valley in these cars, straight around the outside of Glenn Seaton.
So big high-speed train of cars coming down to 14. Didn't see Bob Middleton out there. Engine dramas for the number 95 car that Andrew Miedicke's been driving. Former Australian Super Truck champion and NASCAR champ. Here's Glenn Seaton, 2-time Australian Touring Car champion. 9th position, Bow ahead. And that's Nigel Benson, the Adelaide-based racer. Right down the middle into the corner.
Cito struggled to pull that car up. You can see it getting a bit of axle hop in the rear there. On that dirty side of the track, you really do struggle to pull it up, but it was good driving by Cito. Also the car in front to be able to see him there, leave that little bit of room.
Eddie's going to on the top of the curb. It's okay. He pulls it up. More passing going on down at turn number 5.
John Bow shows Mark King how it should be done down in turn 5.
He's plenty pumped up, isn't he? After what went on in race number 2.
Adam Garwood's right up behind his old man, so this will be interesting.
And Garwood is on the back. Greg Garwood on the back of Rusty French. This is to skip away into the distance. 1.5 seconds. First to second right now, then pretty much a second covering the next 4. It's Adam Garwood, car 12, the second of the Tiranas.
Adam's mum, Luana, she'll be watching this, biting her fingernails, watching her husband and son out there dicing together.
There'll be a house party going on in Tasmania too. I'm sure all of their friends and family are watching on. He has been very good this year. won that race.
Yeah, he did a great job down there, and smart bit of driving there by Adam, trying to force the issue there, trying to send him the long way around. Unfortunately, that Tirana just doesn't quite have the horsepower of some of these other cars, and it really does make him vulnerable down this big, long front straight.
There's Seaton, so they're up inside the top 10 now. Bow is up to 6th, made up 10 positions. Next on the hit list is going to be Adam Garwood, who pulls up for a look down the inside of Tony Karanvolowski. Two Tiranas go at it out of turn number 5. Lap 4, so almost half race distance. The Thunder in the Valley feature race at Hidden Valley today. Someone's got smoke as that Seaton, as he had contact on the left rear. Was there more to it? He tries the outside. That was cool. Is he going to be able to hold down?
JB must have some kind of a problem.
He has. Yep. And Bow is slowing.
Not his day. He'll be so disappointed. And to have such a great start in this race, to be able to sort of get back through, like you said, right up to 6th place. And most importantly for him, there is 25 championship points for finishing this race. So it's critical that if he can either sort of limp it around or get back out from pit lane.
He's missed the pit entry, which is surprising because it's really slow in the background. As Greg Garwood has got Tony Karanvolowski all over the back of him. The Tips Warehousing Distribution number 88. 3rd and 4th on the circuit. And this will open up the championship. Right now, Glenn Seaton will finish behind Stephen Johnson in the point side of things. We must explain how this works too, that you get 25 points for starting this race. Everybody in the field gets that, and a further 25 if you complete the race. How the rules work in this 3rd and final feature race. Still smoke, so there's tyre rubbing on the back of Glenn Seaton's car.
I'm not sure if he's actually had some contact there, or it looks like it's actually sitting down a little bit on the right-hand side, like it might have a broken shock or something like that, because you can't see any sort of visible bodywork pushing down on the tyre, but you watch it when it comes down the straight, it's sitting down just a little bit on that right rear.
Just seems to be in that part of the track too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only when it's sort of heavily loaded, but well, speaking of that, still doing it now.
And there's Bow crawling around. He's down at turn number 1. Here come the leaders.
I reckon what JB is going to try and do is if he can just stay out there and limp around and still get classified as a finisher, get over the finish line, he'll still get those 25 points. So that's what's going to be going through his head right here and now. It's obviously to finish up there in the race is out of the equation, but he's now thinking about the championship. He needs to finish this race, so he just needs to be able to sort of limp around to be classified as a finisher to claim those valuable 25 points.
Rusty French and Greg Garwood. Is he going quick enough, though, to not get the attention of race control? You know, sometimes they look weird at that, don't they?
Yeah, well, the other thing is he's also got to complete a certain percentage of the race as well to be classified as a finisher. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. If he starts getting in the way out there or stopping there on track, this will definitely bring out a safety car.
And that's right on the entry to the flip-flop, or turn 3 and 4. Looking out my window to see what's going on here at race control at the moment, though. Wayne Mercer has got Tony Karanvolowski right on the back now. They come down to complete lap number 6. Still no movement from race control. He's right in the slipstream. Tony Kay looking to turn his season around here. And Wayne Mercer is going to make him do it the hard way.
Send him the long way around. Tony's not going to be too brave down here into turn 1 after what happened in the last race with that sort of flat-spotted tyre. And Wayne runs him just that little bit wide. Stops him being able to do sort of the cutback on the exit. Now, if JB stopped up here, you'd have to anticipate there's going to be some yellow flags. There he is there. They're back to green, though, so turn 5. Oh! Big moment there. Nice bit of driving to be able to pull that up.
So they might keep this going with a local yellow, perhaps. And now Karanvolowski on the outside. If he can stay here, which I don't think he can, and have the run down to turn 7.
He needs to sort of just be a little bit careful here that he doesn't make a silly mistake. He's clearly got the speed, and he's got laps up his sleeve, so he doesn't need to do anything silly here. He just needs to keep the pressure on safety car boards, and flags are out.
Oh, boy. I hope this doesn't run us right through to the end, because that could be the moment that Wayne Mercer could chalk up his first win. Karanvolowski's had 3 in his Touring Car Masters career. So Lexus safety car is called at the end of lap number 7. The stranded John Bow Tirana sits stationary on the run to turn 3 and 4.
Wayne Mercer will be begging the race officials to throw that checkered flag out to declare this race. He's done a great job right from the get-go in this race. He's been fast, he's raced hard, he's had some challenges thrown at him, so he's definitely deserving of the win, but as they say, it's not over till the checkered flag goes out.
Our recovery crew quickly on the scene.
This should be a quick recovery. It won't take them long just to sort of get that rope on there. And my guess is that they'll try and drag him into sort of the area between sort of turn 5 and 7 and try and sort of park him somewhere down in there. So you could even see that we could get going at the end of this lap if these guys are onto it quickly.
Toe strap now been applied to the front. All these cars run a hook on the front and the rear. So whichever way they face, they can tow them straight down to a marshalling point, which I think that might take it just down to turn 5, left-hand side. There's a place you can park the car down there. Could be in for a one-lap screamer, though. Never really known what that actually means, but means it's going to be one hell of a last lap.
That means Wayne Mercer will be screaming in his helmet. Why?
Oh, that's what it means.
That's what it means. I've been in that situation before, and it's not a lot of fun.
But how do you go about this now? I mean, you sit at the front, you've been leading this race all race long. You've not just got one car, you've got half a dozen lining up behind you.
Look, the important thing for him to remember is that he's been the pace setter in this race. He's obviously, he's raced hard and fast and everything like that. The most important thing here is the rolling restart, is that you get that right. We've seen in so many races this weekend where there's been a lot of kerfuffle down at turn 1 in those, on those restarts. So you've got to just sort of play it smart on that restart. Go a little bit defensive into turn 1. Don't overcommit yourself, and hope the guys behind sort of can get caught up in a bit of a battle and you can sort of sprint on. But I reckon we're going to be faced with a one-lap screamer to the flag.
Oh, lights are going out. They've called it late, so we're going to get 2 laps in.
These guys need to hustle, get themselves into position. So for Wayne Mercer, this is a good thing.
In comes the Lexus safety car, the restart.
He's out of there. He's not hanging around.
And goes straight to the middle of the track. So Wayne Mercer takes us back to the green flag on lap 8. Karafalowski having to do the hard work again. Rusty French is 3rd, Greg Garwood, Glenn Seaton up to 5th, and Adam Garwood, Eddie Abelnika, Mark King, Jim Richards, and Andrew Fisher rounds out your top 10. Lap 9.
Wayne Mercer needs to watch the inside up here. Tony had a look up here last time. Yeah, moves the car across, shows him that he knows that he's there. Like what Steve Johnson's done in the last 2 races, really play the defensive game. He needs to watch for the cutback up here into turn 6. Send him the long way. His heart will be in his mouth. He's got about 2 minutes of racing left, and it is going to be the longest 2 minutes of his life.
I think we're heading that direction, aren't we? On board with Seaton, plenty of opposite lockdown there through turn 7. He's always been one that's been aggressive at the steering wheel all his career, hasn't he? Yeah,
he has, but it's funnily enough, when you get on board with him, he's so relaxed in his demeanour behind the wheel. Like, he's working hard behind there, but he makes it look so easy. He looks very relaxed.
Tony Karafalowski
finished the last lap.
3rd place for Karafalowski the last round. Here comes Glenn Seaton. Pulls out the slipstream on Greg Garwood. Bit of cloud cover over the top of this Hidden Valley track now. Has a look to the left.
Tony Karafalowski's going to have to do this a hard way. Wayne Mercer deep under brakes here. Can he pull it up?
Oh, good racing. Just gives him a little rub down there.
Letting him know that he's there. So only a couple more spots where Tony can do this. Turn 5. Again, Wayne Mercer needs to go defensive here.
Down to 5.
One less opportunity.
This is great racing. Final lap. Rusty French is sitting back and watching this all unfold in front of him. He's seen this all before.
He certainly has.
Mercer down the middle of the track. Here comes Tony Kafer. Look down the inside. Oh, he's got it sideways. He's off the track.
He had to have a look, but I thought it was a little bit ambitious to try and throw it down the inside there. And it's only hurt him. But for Wayne Mercer, it's given him a clean bit of track, 2 corners to go, and his first win in the TCM.
Huge moment for him. Pole position, Rusty French in 2nd, Glenn Seaton in 3rd. But Wayne Mercer is going to take out the Thunder in the Valley feature race here today to wrap up the Touring Car Masters in Darwin. Great job to the Falcon. Rusty French will hold down 2nd ahead of Glenn Seaton from near back of the field, 14th in fact where he started. Adam Garwood will get 4th, Greg Garwood and Eddie Abelnika completing the top 6. And tough break for Karafalowski. Had to have a go, but a bit of an ambitious move. We'll see him drop outside the top 10.
Yeah, he had to have a go at it, but I would have personally tried to set it up for a run down into the last corner. We don't usually see many passing opportunities there at sort of turn 7. It was more a bit of a throw it in there and hope that that Wayne King might sort of run himself wide there. But hey, look, he had to have a go, and good luck to him. But fantastic result for Wayne King and all of his guys down there. They'll be over the moon.
So Mercier winner by half a second over Rusty French and Glenn Seaton. The two Garwoods, Adam ahead of Greg, Eddie Abelnika in 6th, and Mark King, Jim Richards, Andrew Fisher and Stephen Johnson from the back of the field there in 10th place. Tony Kay will finish in 11th. Nigel Benson is 12th. Mick Cannon, Darren Bill and Jason Gomersall. John Bow bringing out that one-lap safety car. And Bob Middleton not even making it out for race number 3.